Honorable Nyeko, you have something to say? Honorable members, I am told, you know, in my village there are no TVs, no radios. When I'm in the village, I just sit in the house. I'm told there are members, our members, who were arrested, who were taken to prison. We have a role where we can allow them to make personal statement. And in that role, you will write to the speaker and we'll give you space on the order paper to come and make a personal statement. Don't imagine we don't mind about you. We do care about our members. So we'll give members space to make personal statement. Jonah, are you okay, Jonah? You are arrested. Yes, Honorable Nyeko.
Yes, thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Nyeko, is it on what I have said?
Yes, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Nyeko, what would be good and smart enough is for us to finish.
Madam Speaker,
Honorable Mwada, am I speaking in the language you understand or what? Yes.
Item 4 on the order paper, laying of papers. 4A, ministerial policy statements and budget estimates for the financial year 2025-2026. 4.1A, the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs.
Honorable members, yesterday we received 21 ministerial statements for which I commend those ministers. We still have some pending ones to be laid, and that is pursuant to Section 1313 of the Public Finance Management Act 2015 and Rule 146 of the Rules of Procedure. So can we have those that are ready to be laid?
Ministry of Internal Affairs.
Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members, pursuant to Section 13(3) of the Public Finance Management Act 2015 as amended and Rule 146(1) of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament, I beg to lay the ministerial policy statement for the following votes under the Ministry of Internal Affairs for the financial year 2025-2026. Vote 009, Ministry of Internal Affairs, Headquarters. Vote 120, National Citizenship and Migration Control. Vote 135, Government Analytical Laboratory. Vote 137, National Identification and Registration Authority. Vote 144, Uganda Police Force. Vote 145, Uganda Prison Service. I beg to lay.
Thank you. Honourable members, in furtherance to Section 12 of the Public Finance Management Act and Rule 146, Sub-Rule 3 of Rules of Procedure, the ministerial policy statement stands referred to Committee of Defense and Internal Affairs.
The Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs.
Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members, pursuant to Section 13(3) of the Public Finance Management Act 2015 as amended and Rule 146 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament of the Republic of Uganda, that the ministerial policy statement for vote for Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, vote 007, 102, Electoral Commission, vote 105, Uganda Law Reform Commission, vote 106, Uganda Human Rights Commission, vote 119, Uganda Registration Service Bureau, vote 133, Directorate of Public Prosecutions, vote 148, Judicial Service Commission, vote 311, Law Development Center for the financial year 2025-2026, be laid.
Thank you. In furtherance to Section 12 of the Public Finance Management Act and Rule 146, Sub-Rule 3, the Ministerial Policy Statement stands referred to Sectoral Committee of Legal and Parliamentary Affairs. And honorable members, I hope this time around we don't have copy and paste. We've always had a copy and paste of this ministerial statements. Yes.
Ministry of Works and Transport.
Minister of Works and Transport.
Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members, pursuant to Section 13 of the Public Finance Management Act 2015 as amended and Rule 1461 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament of the Republic of Uganda, that a ministerial policy statement for integrated transport infrastructure and services program, vote 016, Minister of Works and Transport, vote 609, local government, be laid.
Thank you. In furtherance to Section 12 of the Public Finance Management Act 2015 and Rule 146, Sub-Rule 3 of Rules of Procedure, the Ministerial Policy Statement stands referred to the Sector Committee of Fiscal Infrastructure.
Item 4B, laying of papers, waiver of outstanding tax areas.
Minister of Agriculture is not here. Honorable members, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, even after all that reminder, has not brought a ministerial policy statement. The Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry of Public Service Commission have not brought. Yes?
Right Honourable Speaker.
And don't tell me about the deadline. Don't. Because we guided you, we must have them.
Yes, and
the 15th you're going to talk about is a Saturday. When you come here, that because the deadline is 15th, we manage the operation of this house.
No, we have until tomorrow, right, Honourable, and we'll lay everything.
We are not, you're not going to guide us.
Much obliged, the Right Honourable, tomorrow.
Honourable members, we gave these people all the time to bring the ministerial statements, and if you cannot bring them, what do you want us to do? We come to the house, nobody is seated there. Members are raising issues, nobody is there to answer. What do you want us to do?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, at the earlier time I wanted to raise this procedural matter. Honorable Martin is the State Minister for Tourism, and he's the one trying to lay all these papers on behalf of all other ministries. Again, given a very tight schedule that you have given to us in your communication, and we are running out of time. There are very many ministers in different ministries. Agriculture, about 3 of them. When you go to public service, the same thing. And maybe he has to clarify, has he been given all this delegation? Or is acting, because we may again run in another scenario where they said we did not delegate him, and he tends to withdraw even what he has submitted. Now that is here, because the Prime Minister is not here, Government Chief Whip is not even here. We have seen Honorable Ma has just come in. Madam Speaker, we don't want to run in a scenario where somebody again comes and says, even what Honorable Martin has submitted is not the right one.
No, where somebody will write to the president and say, that's not what we decided as a house. So can you clarify, because I was not notified that you are the acting leader of government business.
I want to thank Honorable Court for raising the matter. But, Right Honorable Speaker, we are one government. I thought what matters the most is the content of these ministerial policy statements. And indeed, they are from these ministries. And I don't think any colleague will complain about the content.
There's an order. But, Honorable Martin, you are not the most senior minister around.
Madam
Speaker. You just needed to say that you are the only person who was around, and you need at that time, and you needed to do work for government because of collective responsibility. It is as simple as that. Next,
Madam Speaker,
next
you had
item.
permitted me to submit on my order matter.
No.
The minister was submitting as if.
No. Next item.
Item 4B, laying of papers, waiver of outstanding tax areas for Fresh Cuts Uganda Limited.
Honorable members, there was a letter that had been written by the Minister of Finance, and after a thorough discussion, and we agreed there is no money. We cannot continue on waiving. Next item.
Item 4C, laying of papers, report of the delegation to the 80th session of the Executive Committee and the 45th Conference of Presidents of National Parliamentary Assemblies of African Parliamentary Union, held in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, from 11th to 15th December 2023.
Honorable members, our representative of this forum is Honorable Faith Loru Nakut, the woman member of Parliament, District Woman Representative of NAPAC, and the District Woman member will table the report. Please go ahead.
Right Honorable Speaker, I'm here to table a report of the Ugandan parliamentary delegation to the 80th session of the Executive Committee and the 45th Conference of the Presidents of National Parliamentary Assemblies of African Parliamentary Union in a meeting held in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire from 11th to 15th December 2023. Our report is made under Rule 33, and I request to summarize for you, but also to draw the attention of the House on the issues, especially the resolutions of the African parliaments. It was a meeting attended by at least 19 parliaments in the continent and 5 other international organizations in Côte d'Ivoire. 8 members from Uganda were present, and we represented you well. The themes of the conference and the executive committee meeting were as follows. 1, combating insecurity and terrorism, especially on the factors of political instability and recession in the continent. The other was the development of intra-African trade with a view to effective implementation of the African Regional Integration Agenda. I wish to report that the meetings, the two conferences, the conference and the executive committee meeting went very well. In the conference, the meeting of the women parliamentarians in the continent that we had, we were lucky that our own Honorable Betty Itho Naluima, the woman MP from Wakiso, was elected the Vice President of the Women Committee for the African Parliaments. It is a term she is serving even this year. Thank you very much, Honorable Betty.
Thank you. Congratulations, Ethel.
She is serving even now. Maybe she will hand over in December if she's not given a second term. In that session, also our own Honorable Remigio Achia was elected the auditor of the APU. The assignment he executed very well in the last financial year, and he was given another term. So he's serving even now as the auditor of the APU on behalf of Uganda. There were key resolutions that were made in this conference. Then I will highlight just two. One was the participation of women and youth in the intra-African trade. Members were urged to take to their parliaments on the need to make our borders safe, especially for women, and to support the youth in intra-African trade. That one, it's something, the resolutions of the executive committee have clear outline on what each state should do. And I will urge that the sectoral committees pick it up so that we can see how to support our border posts to make it safe for women and youth to participate in this trade. The other is the making available of trade information for citizens to participate. Even though there is the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, an agreement which Uganda signed to, the information seems not to be coming out clearly to the citizens to participate. This conference also highlighted the key issues that have created political instability and insecurity generally in the continent. And the parliamentarians in all the continent were urged to make sure that those issues are put under check, and they are just two. One, economic. The conference unpacked the economic quest that makes youth vulnerable to the point where they participate in causing insecurity in the country. The other is democracy, constitutionalism, and the rule of law. As you are aware that by the time these conferences were happening, there was turmoil in parts of West Africa. So it informed the kind of discussion that we had. I beg to submit, Right Honorable.
Thank you so much for the report, and the report is informative. It will be deposited in the parliamentary library for ease of access. So thank you so much. Honorable members in the public gallery this afternoon, we have student leaders of Butereevu Students Association in Butereevu West County. They are represented by Honorable Bilaro Ephraim. Who is Ephraim? Ephraim is there. And Honorable Olive Koyochenga. But you also have Francis here. Francis here, so you are also from Butereevu. You're most welcome. Please join me in welcoming them. You can, Bilaro, you can greet your people. But the people are not seeing your face.
So
Yeah.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. My people have always known me to be sitting on your right. So that's why I was just reluctant to cross, but with your permission, Right Honourable Speaker, thank you very much.
No problem. You speak.
I take the opportunity to thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, and honourable colleagues for coming people from Butereevu. They are from Butereevu, not only Butereevu West. So, but majority of them are from Butereevu West. Right Honourable Speaker, these youths who are here, one important thing they want to hear, a pronouncement from this parliament, is about affirmative action in service delivery for Butereevu. That will summarize all
Thank
things.
you.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. Francis, I'm told they are not only from the West. You can also greet them.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I also want to take this singular opportunity to welcome the young people from Butereevu. This is Parliament, this is where we sit, and you're welcome all the time to come and see what we do here. Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker.
Okay, thank you. Olive is on an assignment. She's out for an assignment. Next.
Item 4D.
Yes, procedure.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. A while ago, we had the challenges in tabling municipal policy statements, and since we entered this house, we see ministers. There is a regular suspect in the house, Honorable Henry Musasizi, but we don't know who is the really leader of government business. What are they fearing? Would it be possible to know whether Honorable Nakut is taking it for some time today? Otherwise, we wish to conduct business by knowing who is the leader of government business today. So, if it pleases, Honorable Musasizi can enjoy that day, as usual, since he's the regular suspect here. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Over there, Nico.
General. Next item, Honorable, next item.
Item 4D, laying of papers, report of the delegation to the 81st session.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker.
You know why Honorable Nakut is seated there? Because she still has to present this report. That's why you see her seated there. Maybe she should have sat the other side. That's why she... So Honorable Nakut, always the first, is always for a leader of government business. So you can find where to sit first. Yes.
Madam Speaker, I come with a very heavy heart. I've been seeing very disturbing video clips of my superior, your own, the leader of the opposition, has been roughed up by the masked JAT security officers just a few, I think, minutes ago. I may not establish the duration of time, but they are trending and they are awash on X, or rather Twitter. And Madam Speaker, they have visited a lot of wrath. They have occasioned all manner of brutality on him, and I highly doubt whether he will make it here. My fear is that they might hold him incommunicado unless you make an urgent intervention, Madam Speaker, because one of your principal roles is that of being a guardian of the welfare and the privileges of your members.
Thank you.
I thank you.
Honorable, thank you for the information. Honorable General, can I find out where my leader of opposition is?
Right Honourable Speaker, let me find out and get back.
Yes, please give us a feedback. And I would want to go and see him after the house. I want to know where he is. Next.
Item 4D, report of the delegation to the 81st session of the Executive Committee of the African Parliamentary Union, held on 4th and 5th June 2024 in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire.
Honorable Ngetho, Emmanuel of Jonamkan County is a member of this delegation and is going to present is going to lay on table and just give a very brief.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. I beg to lay a report of the Uganda Parliamentary Delegation to the 81st session of the Executive Committee of the African Parliamentary Union, held on the 4th and the 5th June 2024 in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire. I beg to lay. But Right Honorable Speaker, I beg that I am given an opportunity to provide a summary of the report. Right Honorable Speaker, you constituted a delegation of 4 members of Parliament to represent Parliament of Uganda at the 81st session of the Executive Committee of the APU that was held on the 4th and the 5th June 2024 in Abidjan, Ivory Coast. And the members included myself, Honorable Emmanuel Ongierto, and that time I was designated as leader of delegation, Honorable James Baba, Honorable Feta Geoffrey, Honorable Kibalia, Henry Morris, and Honorable Achia Remigio. Right Honorable Speaker, the main objective of the session was to look at the report of the audit that was carried. Our main leader of delegation, Right Honorable Speaker, already stated that our own Achia Remigio was one of the auditors. And this session was dedicated to getting a report and having a discussion on the audit report. And in this session, we had 18 countries, members of the APU who attended the session. And highlights of the session, as mentioned earlier, the session was presided over by the chairperson of the Executive Committee, who was none other than His Excellency, Mr. Adama Bitogo, the Speaker of the National Assembly of Abidjan, of Ivory Coast. And as I earlier mentioned, the session considered mainly the audit report. And I wish to inform this august House that Achia, this is a reputation, was our auditor. And from the discussions which came, I must add that actually Achia was the toughest of the auditors. And even the Secretariat recognized that it's Achia that brought out the issues that were affecting them. And in it, there was payment of membership to the Parliamentary Union. Madam Speaker, we want to thank you very sincerely, because a number of countries had not yet paid their dues, but Parliament of Uganda has paid their dues, and we are not in arrears at all. So thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. One of the things which was outstanding was the retirement of staff. Actually, it came out clearly from the audit that only 2 staff were not due for retirement, and all the other staff should have been retired. But they continued to work. The audit came out clearly about that. And what also came out and members were very strong about, was that the Secretary General was supposed to make sure that those who were supposed to retire actually retire. And when it came to recruitment, there was supposed to be consideration for the regional balance, because the auditors also noted that the current staffing were mainly from specific regions, and which members thought was unfair. And Right Honorable Speaker, I want to go towards the end where Uganda as a delegation actually made some key recommendations, apart from the other recommendations that members can read from what has been uploaded. The Uganda parliamentary delegation in particular advised the Secretary General to ensure that management of annual financial contributions from member parliaments of APU were done in accordance with the financial management practices and principles, and in accordance with the approved work plans of the APU. The delegation further advised that the Secretary General should ensure that financial statements prepared by the Secretariat should be free of any inaccuracies as raised by the audit team. And I need to add a little here, Madam Speaker, that the auditors had found quite a number of irregularities, and a number of delegations were silent about some of the issues, and it was particularly the Ugandan delegation that was strong about bringing out the issues, and that is why we had to make sure that this comes through in this report. The Ugandan parliamentary delegation urged delegates from national groups in attendance to consider appointment of future Secretary Generals of APU to be on a rotational basis, taking into consideration aspects of regional balance, official languages of the APU. I beg to submit.
Thank you so much, Honorable Emmanuel. And as I said before, this is informative and it will be deposited in the library for you to easily access it and for you to read whenever you need it. Thank you.
Item 4E, report of the delegation to the 82nd session of the Executive Committee of the African Parliamentary Union and the 46th Conference of Presidents of National Parliamentary Assemblies of the African Parliamentary Union, held on 5th to 9th October 2024 in N'Djamena, Chad.
I have a request from the Minister of Public Service that he wants to lay his document, his ministerial statement. He came late, and these members were here very early. Unless you're going to apologize to them, and then you lay your document.
Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to acknowledge the chance given to me, having come late, but I also wish, Right Honorable Speaker, to register my apologies for coming late. We are indeed very sorry as public service. However, I appreciate the chance given to me. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg that pursuant to Section 1313 of the Public Finance Management Act 2015 as amended, and Rule 1461 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament of the Republic of Uganda, that the policy statement for Vote 146, Public Service Commission of the Ministry of Public Service for the financial year 2025-2026 be laid. I beg to move, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. In furtherance to Section 12 of the Public Finance Management Act 2015 and Rule 146 sub Rule 3 of Rules of Procedure. The Ministerial Policy Statement stands referred to the Secretarial Committee of Public Service and Local Government. Read the what is being laid.
Right Honorable Speaker.
Mr. Kema, can you reread it?
Item 4E, report of the delegation to the 82nd session of the Executive Committee of the African Parliamentary Union and the 46th Conference of Presidents of National Parliamentary Assemblies of the African Parliamentary Union, held on 5th to 9th October 2024 in N'Djamena, Chad.
Thank you, Honorable Nakot.
Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay a report, to table a report of the Uganda delegation, parliamentary delegation, to the 82nd session of the Executive Committee of the African Parliamentary Union and the 46th Conference of Presidents of National Parliamentary Assemblies of the African Parliamentary Union, held from 5th to 9th October 2024 in N'Djamena, Chad. Right Honorable Speaker, in just a few minutes I will have completed summarizing, but I want to interest members in reading the detail therein. The 82nd session and the 46th conference addressed two themes. One of them was the issue of addressing the challenges of peace and security, in particular by promoting the involvement and empowerment of youth in Africa. Number two was on the conference highlighted the economic development of African countries through the development of natural resources, the diversification of the economy and industrialization. As you have noted when I tabled the other first report, the African Parliamentary Union was identifying the issues that are causing problems in our continent. And in this subsequent conference, they're going deeper into identifying what can be done practically, aware that the causes of instability are the two, as I highlighted earlier, economic and the issues of democracy. So the conference resolved that the African countries should do everything reasonably possible to explore the natural resources as a means for boosting our economic base so that our unemployed youth can be engaged in economic activities so they will not have room to think of rebel activity or other subversive activity. That was encouraged. The key learnings are those that Uganda proposed one thing which was adopted, and resolution number 15 of the political committee. Uganda proposed that countries should be encouraged to open up their borders to the African youth so that if there are opportunities in Uganda, the rest of the countries can also come and participate, just like the way our country has opened up already to the youth and the skilled people who are employed here. For example, in the tourism sector, we have a number of people working here who are from the rest of the countries of East Africa. So that resolution was adopted so that other African countries can copy and take that into serious consideration. The issue of empowerment of youth as a means for securing our continent was also re-emphasized. So those are the two issues that we should take on as the sectoral committees could examine how our mineral resources are being utilized so that our youth can be employed. Maybe even taking stock on how many youth are now participating in the mineral sector of our country. The other thing that was highlighted, which I wish to emphasize, is the need to bust out negative stereotypes that cause extremism and insecurity in our continent. Wherever we identify there is negativity coming up, we should be quick to quench it so that people are not disgruntled and cause our unnecessary turmoil in our continent. Right, Honorable Speaker, that was the matter, the issue of security and the issue of economic empowerment. How do we make our money? For as long as we do not attend to those two, there will be turmoil in the continent, unfortunately. I'm glad that our country is still handling these two matters, but let's examine that the committees of parliament should examine what we are doing to see that the youth are employed. The youth livelihood program exists. Maybe it is time to review whether it is effectively addressing the unemployment challenge of our young people so that they are not vulnerable to a situation where someone recruited our youth to take them to do a rebel activity in another country. That is the learning of this, the conference that we attended. I submit, Right Honorable.
Thank you so much. Take interest in reading it. Please let it be deposited to the parliamentary library. Next.
Item 4F, report of the Committee on Information, Communications Technology and National Guidance on the performance of the National Backbone Infrastructure, e-government infrastructure.
The Chairman, Committee of ICT and National Guidance will table the report. Honorable Ole Tony.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay on table the report of the Committee on ICT and National Guidance on the National Backbone Infrastructure, stroke e-government's infrastructure. I beg to lay.
Thank you.
Ever Right Honorable Speaker, yesterday we had a report still on ICT, and as you are aware, the government is on an effort on digital transformation and digitizing the economy, especially in e-government. And on this report, I wanted to highlight a few recommendations that the committee had raised in the report, but still calling upon the members to take time and go through this report. Now, in one of the recommendations of the committee, we were calling upon government to intensify efforts to ensure that the remaining border posts earmarks for e-service, e-government and e-service connectivity are availed the required funding in order to automate services which will not only improve service delivery at the border post and increase revenue to government, but also enhance security measures against illicit products and criminals entering the country, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, another issue that was critical by the committee that we recommended for government to initiate and implement the policy on centralization of all the data at the National Data Center and recovery sites. This will then enable the consolidation of funds currently being spread across various MDAs in the management and maintenance of these data centers. And also that the National Data Center and recovery sites are enhanced with the necessary resources, including the requisite finances, human resources, equipment, and system to enable the seamless connectivity in achieving across all the MDAs. Right Honorable Speaker, another critical recommendation that the committee had put in this report was for NITA-U to fast-track the implementation of Phase 5 of the National Backbone Infrastructure and UDAP e-government projects, which are expected to increase network coverage, reduce the cost of internet bandwidth to USD $20 per megabyte, improve efficiency of digital service delivery, increase investment from the private sector, especially internet service providers, and enhance cybersecurity and data protection and privacy. These phases are also earmarked to extend connectivity to the remaining 82 district local governments that are currently not covered by the network. And the Right Honorable Speaker, finally, the committee has recommended that Government should continue to engage the district local government leadership to provide and drive uptake of e-government services at the respective local government administrative units and services and service centers across the country. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Mayor. The report will be posted in the library for ease of access, and please take interest in reading it.
Item 5.
Yes,
thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Madam Speaker, we have received the ministerial policy statements and we hope to receive others. These ministerial policy statements are anchored on some national frameworks. Last time I brought to your attention the reluctance, which has now turned to the defiance of the Ministry of Finance and the Executive to bring here the National Development Plan 4 as approved by Parliament for adoption. The ministerial policy statements cannot be processed without the National Development Plan, whose pillars guide and inform Parliament on the resource allocation. It was your directive, Madam Speaker, that this was supposed to be brought on the 2nd of March. It has been defied, and they seem not to be bothered, and Parliament is being taken for granted. Would it please you, Madam Speaker, to prevail over this matter? Otherwise, if the front bench Minister of Finance thinks it's not, Parliament is not an important stakeholder in this process, why are they bothering us? And why would we waste our time and resources to look into this ministerial policy statement? And I must point out that it is not, I'm not raising it for the sake of it. Some regions of this country, where I come from, having gone through the war and having seen how the national cake has been deliberately served at a higher percentage to some areas and others left behind without roads, without schools, without health centers, and for us we are supposed to sit and escort them to develop their area. Madam Speaker, that is unfair.
Honorable Minister, you had asked for 2 weeks too, and it was very simple. You were only supposed to go and incorporate what was discussed, what was raised in this house, putting in mind the equity, fairness, regional balance, and bring and lay it on table. I even asked the minister to first give me and I look at it before it is laid on table. Up to today it is not brought. What do we do?
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. And I thank the Honorable Member for raising the issue. There is no reason as to why government cannot share NDP4 with the Parliament. There is no reason, because the document has been prepared for Ugandans, including MPs. Secondly, it is also not true that as we plan and budget, that we leave out particular parts of the country. We know for a fact that the northern part of the country was affected by war and conflict for a long time, but from technical studies, there is evidence that what we call the Gini coefficient, which measures issues of inequality, there is a great improvement in the north. But yes, no. There is a way we measure inequality, and the point I am making, that while that part of the country,
there's an order.
Madam Speaker, the reports released by the government consistently, from the poverty status assessment report, from Uganda Bureau of Statistics, etc., government agencies have clearly pointed out that the north, Lango, Karamoja, Acholi, Teso, and Busoga have worsening poverty situation consistently. The report of the Equal Opportunities Commission assessed and found, one, that we are nowhere in this government. Two, that we are at only, yes, in terms of employment, it's a report of government available. The road network, that the entire country, we have only 3%. 3%, Madam Speaker. This is the report from the Equal Opportunities Commission. I will receive information
from Afoyo.
I will receive from Madam Afoyo Shan, and I will receive from Okotogong, Honorable Linda Uma, all the northerners who are available here.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Parliament is a place where we disagree and also agree. But today I stand to agree with the other side of the alternative government. Because, Right Honorable Speaker, we need to take keen interest in some of these things. It even gets worse where the areas with ministers get better and bigger budgets. Those of us that do not have the opportunity to have ministries or cabinet ministries are completely denied. That one we shall speak without fear or favor. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
You're actually not disagreeing with the honorable members. Honorable members, you're not disagreeing with this side of opposition. You're only stating facts. You're only stating facts. Let me hear. And there's another information. You know, Honorable Bademusi, it's just because I cannot debate, but I'm also an interested party.
Right Honorable Speaker, we want to thank you for this very great opportunity. So before Honorable Felix Okotogong speaks, let me speak. Right Honorable Speaker, it is from the bottom of my heart that I speak, and want to appreciate Honorable Odur for starting. Maybe there are many members who should have spoken.
You say it is from the bottom of our hearts.
It is from the bottom of our hearts that I speak. And Madam Speaker, on Friday I did raise from the caucus at Entebbe that if we do not pass the transitional justice law, we are at a quagmire. Why? Because that is the law that should be helping us to create a balance through a law. I'm saying so because the injuries that we are nursing from the past and historical injustices in this country are not easy to arrest. Right Honorable Speaker, one time I had an opportunity to fly in a chopper. I looked down and I saw a country divided into two. One side was looking like a desert and the other side was looking green. And I asked myself, what is the question? Is it about rain? Is it about the rivers? Or what is the issue? So, Right Honorable Speaker, from the bottom of my heart and our hearts, equal opportunities is a matter of the Constitution, and we must adhere to the requirements of this Constitution of the Republic of Uganda so that this country is moving as a country that is balanced together, so that we avoid having this kind of insecurity in terms of poverty that creates injustice.
Honorable members, the guiding principles of state policy, when you look at it, it is about balanced and equitable development. The state shall adopt an integrated and coordinated planning approach. The state shall take necessary measures to bring about balanced development of the different areas in Uganda and between the rural and the urban. And just like what Honorable Afoyo Chan said, that when you don't have a minister like us, we don't have minister. That's what she was saying. But what is paramount is that the NDP form, which was laid on table here, did not have this. And that's why we sent it for them to make sure that there is equity and fairness in the NDP4. And we are saying, where is the NDP4? Before we look at the ministerial statements, they were supposed to come and lay it on table, and we see it. Yes, Honorable Kotoko.
Madam Speaker, I want to confirm and agree.
First leave the North.
With my brother, Honorable Odur Jonathan. Madam Speaker, I'm a nationalist. But when something happens in the direction of marginalizing any community, I stand up. For the North now, it is becoming worse and worse. When you look at the Equal Opportunities Report, Madam Speaker, we had wanted this report to be debated in this parliament. 67% of the jobs, opportunities are going to the West. It is there. And this parastatal...
Honorable, let's not specify the area.
Okay. Madam Speaker, facts speaks for themselves. And the North, for example, and the East, 13% is going to Eastern Uganda. 11% is going to Northern Uganda. That means North and Eastern Uganda, which is a half of Uganda, only receives 23%. You can imagine this imbalance. And I think this is not fair. Madam Speaker, when it comes, even now we need to talk about the army. When you look at promotion, there was some promotion of 38 from the level of major to major general. 38 of them, I think it was 35 out of 40, was coming from one region. That is in defense. And in the Constitution, recruitment should be balanced in our UPDF. But now, it is not balanced. Even yesterday, there was some promotion of some people to Major General. 3 of them. And all of them, 100% was coming from one region.
There is somebody who is tempting.
And I think it is not fair.
Somebody is tempting to give you an order.
My brother, it is better.
You first listen.
Let me state facts.
You first listen to his order.
Madam Speaker, luckily, the Minister of Internal Affairs is here. When they are making recruitments for UPDF, they advertise countrywide. When they are recruiting for Uganda Police, they advertise countrywide. So I think the floor is mine. So I don't think the honorable member is right to insinuate that there is imbalance in recruitment. I don't think that is right. Madam Speaker, I don't think it's also right to say that development is on one side. No, listen. I think we should only discuss employment, but when we are issuing
Honorable members, an advert is different from actual recruitment.
No, Madam Speaker, no.
That is number one. But let me tell you, honorable members,
I don't think it's true.
Honorable members, truth be told, I am a chairperson of appointments committee. And I want to tell you, it is not the president who selects those people. It is not the president. The president only forwards. Now, people who forward the names to the president, do they ever think there are other areas that exist? Do they ever think? Honorable Bademus, you may think I am being opposition, but I am telling you, this is a fact. Do you ever think that Teso belongs to this country? I have never vetted anybody who comes from that place. You find there are people who are coming from different areas, and you're living other areas. Let's have equity. Let's have regional balance. Even when you're selecting boards, think of women, think of regional balance, think of religion, and that would solve a problem.
Madam Speaker, I'm still on. Madam Speaker, I think we need to debate this thing on facts. We want the Equal Opportunity Report to be presented here. If you are talking about the army is there, the minister is here, let them come and present how many generals we have, how many colonels we have, how many majors we have, how many captains we have. Even ambassadors, everything. Uganda belongs to all of us. Nobody is going to take us to the north.
Honorable members.
One time, Madam Speaker, we said if we cannot get equity in Uganda, we shall form Nile Republic.
That one, you say it yourself. We are not part of it. Yes, let Honorable Dole finish.
Yes. Thank you. Madam Speaker, I want to thank my colleagues for enriching this discussion. And I want to thank you also for adding your voice. The point I am making, Madam Speaker, if you perform an analysis of the budget that has been going into the different regions for high impact, high value projects, projects that create jobs, projects that have the potential of transforming the rural economy, you will find that it has been skewed. And these projects are all based on the NDP and Vision 2040. All we are asking, and I am asking, is that this parliament must be given opportunity, because this parliament represents all the regions. We must look at it. For every 5 projects we give each region. It is so painful to see that there are a list of projects and they seem to go to one area. So let the NDP come and we confirm that the budget for the next 5 years will address these issues, Madam Speaker.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. We can have a debate, but I can assure you, you will never have a government that addresses inclusivity that is better than the NRM government. Yes. Some of us lose opportunities because we are from the West. I would have loved to be a vice president of this country.
Or even a speaker.
Or a speaker. And maybe let me not go into that debate. But I can also tell you that poverty levels have increased in Chigezi from 12% to 27%. And Chigezi is not in northern Uganda. So let's debate as nationalists. I agree that the distribution of the cake should be looked at. Yes. But is there a cake anyway? But that's what we have been doing in this parliament, because the budget is passed by this house. Exactly. Therefore, yes, by this
Honorable
house.
Musasisi.
And
Honorable Musasisi.
And therefore, I think the question was the NDP for
Minister of ICT. It's simple. Get for us the NDP for.
The accusation is that the areas represented by ministers are much better is false. It is false. It is false.
Okay.
And the budget, the national budget, is passed by this house. So let's all scrutinize the budget. The plan will come. Let me cross-check with the Minister of Finance, and they should be able to bring the NDP for maybe early next week on Tuesday.
Thank you.
Let me commit that on Tuesday, the Minister of Finance should lay on the table the revised NDP 4.
Thank you. Next item.
But we can have a debate on inclusivity and how we are sharing the national cake. Most of the allegations we are making are false and not correct.
Next item. Yes, Honourable Minister.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I want this House not to really to take it on record that the areas represented, may be some areas, but not to generalize, that they are all better than the others. Right, Honorable Speaker, I have been on a committee before I was appointed of Natural Resources and Environment for 21 years. And that's the one which deals with electricity distribution. Honorable Speaker, I can tell you, when you reach in my constituents, for example, where I come from, you can't find electricity there. And if there are poles there, they have been there for 16 years. Right, Honorable Speaker, I have been here, I'm coming to 30 years, I don't know, but I'm beginning 5 years. No. You relax. I am talking 25, 30 years, wait first, I also tell you. I want to be really clear. Right, Honorable Speaker, when you come to, I want to...
You leave Senga to talk.
I want array fears that where ministers are. And I want to assure you when you come to look for the water, right, Honorable Speaker, because I'm inviting
Madam
you.
Speaker, order.
You order me.
Order. Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, with all the political crocodile tears ushered in by a minister of a ruling government to an extent of explaining that for 16 years, for 21 years, she has been in the Natural Resource Committee, and other donors and minister, her place have never received electricity. Is she really in order and she sits in cabinet and it has no water, they are using water from Sofia in Busia? Is she in order to come in front of the August House and lament when the NRM government is saying it has achieved all its manifesto since it came in power? Are you not exposing your government that you are serving? Are you in order?
Honorable members, I don't even know why we went back into that discussion. When you look at Rule 2222, reconsidering a decision of the House, we had already closed that discussion. We had closed, and the leader of government business had already made a commitment to the effect that they are going to bring the NDP for. So it's not prudent for us again to continue discussing that issue on the floor.
Right, Honorable Speaker, with due respect,
I thought
I accept your guidance, but something must be on record. It's not in order for somebody to say that I have been in government for 21 years and is confused. I have just been appointed. I am in my 4th year. And even him, on Thursday, I'm supposed to go and launch big things in Busia. So is he also in order to come here and confuse the House and the House and the House?
Next item. Next item. Honorable
Item
Honorable
5.
on the same. On the same. I'm going to give you to bring it under the women. Yes, I will give you to bring under the women debate. Yes.
Item 5 on the order paper. Motion for a resolution of Parliament urging government to accord due consideration to the resolutions of the second Women's Parliament.
Honorable members, you recall that that the second Women Parliament was held on 3rd March 2025. The Women's Parliament passed various resolutions for which will require an executive action. This motion seeks to make those resolutions part of the record of this House and accord them a referral status to the executive for an executive action. I will invite Honorable Auma Linda, the Lira District Woman Representative, to move the motion in regard to the women.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker, for loving the women of this country. Right Honorable Speaker, before I move the motion, I beg to lay the motion. Right Honorable Speaker, receive my greetings from the women of Uganda that were in these chambers. And they were very excited because from the history of Uganda, it was the second Women's Parliament. And we thank you so much for giving us these chambers, because the last ones we used to have in the conference hall. You've made them to fill Parliament, and they're now behaving like parliamentarians. Right Honorable Speaker, I move a motion for a resolution of Parliament urging government to accord due consideration to the resolutions arising from the second Women's Parliament. I move under Rule 56 of Rules of Procedure of Parliament of Uganda, and whereas Objective 4 of the National Objectives and Directive Principles of State Policy of the 1995 Constitution of Uganda obligates the state to recognize the significant role that women play in society. And whereas Article 32 and 33 mandates the state to take affirmative action in favor of marginalized groups, including women, to redress historical imbalances and ensure full participation of women in all spheres of national life, including political representation. Aware that to enable the people participate in the formulation and implementation of development plans and programs which affect them, Parliament held the first Women's Parliament on Tuesday, 7th July 2015, as a platform to foster the progress of women in political participation, economic empowerment, and transformative leadership. Further aware that the Parliament of Uganda, through your leadership, hosted the second Women's Parliament on 3rd March 2025 under the theme Consolidating Women's Social and Economic Transformation in Uganda as part of the commemoration of the International Women's Day. Noting that the second Women's Parliament considered the following motions, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues. One was a motion for a resolution of the second Women's Parliament urging government to strengthen and enhance opportunities and access education for the girl child. The second resolution of the second Women's Parliament urged government to implement gender-responsive change action and resilience building in support of women effort in the agricultural sector. The third one was a motion for a resolution of the second Women's Parliament urging government to strengthen the policies and initiatives for women economic empowerment and financial independence. And the last resolution was a motion of resolution of second Women's Parliament urging government to strengthen women participation in politics and eliminate barriers to inclusive democracy. Further noting that, Right Honorable Speaker, arising from the motions, the second Women's Parliament made 30 resolutions. Attached to this motion, including the following: A, government agencies, civil society, development partners, and private sector actors work collectively to dismantle barriers that hinder women's education and leadership opportunities, ensuring a more inclusive and equitable future for Uganda. B, all government agencies, local authorities, private sector stakeholders, and civil society organizations work collaboratively to strengthen gender-responsive climate action, ensuring that Uganda climate's resilience efforts are inclusive, sustainable, and equitable for all. C, all government institutions, financial bodies, private sector actors, and civil society organizations work collaboratively to ensure that women's economic empowerment remains a national priority, leading to sustainable development and inclusive economic growth. And finally, government commits to continuous legislative review and oversight to ensure the full realization of gender-responsive governance and effective implementation of policies aimed at enhancing women's political empowerment in Uganda. Now, therefore, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, be it resolved by Parliament that government accords due consideration to the resolutions arising from second Women's Parliament. I beg to move. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honourable Linda. Is the motion seconded? Seconded. Seconded by Honourable, let me start with the men. By Honourable Odur, by Honourable Nambeshe, Honourable Seungu, Jonathan, Jonathan, by Honourable Jonathan, by Honourable Bariomusi, by Honourable Tourism, by Honourable Winfred, Honourable Nyeko, Honourable Alan, Honourable Mujiche, Honourable Alan Sewanyana, Dr. Bedi, Okelo, Gerald, Emmanuel, Okot, Margaret, Connie, Apea, Pascali, Workers, Dokolo, Aru, Santa, Akelo, Honorable Lawrence Zombo, Honorable Lebtong, Honorable Lillian, Patrick, Honorable Baba, Honorable Chua, Honorable Liantonde, Honorable the whole of Arua, Matchbox, and, and then Tima, then Honorable Minister Senga, Honorable Victoria, Honorable Mamawi, Honorable Wokorach, Ngole, Wokorach, David, then Honorable Jane, Honorable Patience, Honorable Akumo, Honorable Mpindi, Honorable Jessica, Jennifer, Catherine, Noelina, my uncle from Bugisu, and then and then Honorable Butereevu, and Ethel, Rita, Okotogong, and Honorable Elwelo, and then Honorable Kamukama, the whole house. Thank you so much. Would you want to speak to your motion?
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. Honourable colleagues, as per this resolution that was made in the second Women's Parliament, and if you see this resolution, it cuts across all sectors of development, it handles welfare, upbringing, nurturing in all forms. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, This motion is very key, and it's through your wisdom that you decided that the women should come and we also hear their voices. Honorable members, women are the brain of a nation and a family. We are modified creatures. That's why we are created after you. We are not analog. We are technical. When you support us, we produce a better result. So I urge this Honorable House to really support the resolutions so that government can take appropriate actions. When you give a woman a coin, that coin will not be the same. I support you so much, and I'm also happy that you will also support this motion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Rita, Honorable Ethel, local government.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, allow me to appreciate you for the second Women's Parliament that we had here. As I second the motion, Right Honorable Speaker, especially regarding the motion of the second National Parliament urging government to strengthen and enhance opportunities and access to education for the girl child. We have a duty, Right Honorable Speaker, to see that as Parliament, we put in place mechanisms, and we should make sure that the executive brings on to all those mechanisms and policies that are going to ensure that our girls that became pregnant before they left school are in position to get back to school. We should also see that our girls are granted those very opportunities to resume and to strengthen, to see that they strengthen their right to education. Right Honorable Speaker, also looking at Resolution 4, where the Parliament of the Women asked government to introduce mentorship programs for women in leadership, forgetting that female teachers, university students, and young professions prepare for high-level leadership roles. We should be the ones entirely to see that all those are in place. We should not only leave the children to be by themselves, but let's see how our teachers are mentored. Right Honorable Speaker, also looking at Resolution 6, where we're asked that government should strictly enforce policies against all forms of gender-based violence, including sexual harassment in schools and universities, ensuring accountability measures for perpetrators, and strengthening mechanisms for reporting abuses and access to appropriate support services for the survivors of the violence. That's under the girl child. But Right Honorable Speaker, allow me to draw this House to the fourth motion that was asked to ensure that we strengthen women's participation in politics and eliminate barriers to inclusive democracy. Right Honorable, as we realize today that several of the women are being almost put away from politics, when you look at the way the justice system is treating the women, if you critically looked at what happened some time back upon the women who were brought in court, one woman, her back was entirely opened. She had to show even her bra. So that is something that is demeaning of a woman. We are supposed to have a system that is entirely supposed to look at a woman in her way and away from the public. We need to protect women when they're accessing justice, but we also need to stand firm for their justice. As I'm about to summarize, Right Honorable, we should not forget, even it was put out very clearly under Resolution 26, that government should implement a zero-tolerance policy against all forms of gender-based electoral violence, ensuring legal action against perpetrators of violence, harassment, intimidation, and cyberbullying against women in politics. We should not forget, under Article 44, where we have the non-derogable rights, we should have women who are able to be in a position that their rights and freedoms are not interfered with. We should stand firm for women who see that up to this day, that their husbands are now political prisoners for 5 years. You are indirectly hurting a woman. When you keep her husband, she has not been heard, she has not been, nothing has been done to that level. So we are indirectly forcing these women not to associate with the political system. yet it's their right to ensure that they are in politics. So, Right Honorable, we also look at the way women are violently arrested. Can we look at once again at the procedures of arresting a person? Now, this is not only to the women, to all persons in this country. If it's about dignity of a person, let's turn back to fairness. Let's turn back to what our Constitution provides for. Otherwise, we want to stand once again as per our Constitution. Let's have that freedom against torture and cruelty, intimidation, and degrading treatment. Let's stand firm and stand for the Constitution of Uganda. We shall be better people. I thank you so much.
Thank you. Honourable members, it's about making the local woman down there to shine. Let's talk about the financial inclusivity of the local woman there. If you're giving PDM, what is the percentage of the money that is going to the local woman? If you're giving money for GROW, how many women out there get? If you're talking about education, how many women there are able to go to school? Let's look at the issues of domestic violence, the issues of owning property, the issues of how women are tortured in all aspects. Yes, Rita, let me finish with the main seconders, then I come to you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I do stand to second the motion, but also to thank you for allowing the women to come to this August House and feel it and see it, so that it can become a point of motivation for them to go and work hard. I'm told the chairperson who sat in your chair, her life will never be the same again. Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to speak much to the motion 2 about a climate change action and resilience, and then economic empowerment. When you talk about climate change, Right Honorable Speaker, even to some of the people in this August House, it is still abstract content. So the issues raised by the women here is to urge government to make sure that the Climate Change Act is put into implementation, that we have money to be able to educate. In this country, we have come from far, learned so many things of science, of HIV, of making money, and climate change is very alive to all of us. Recently, or even until now, you see the heat wave. Yes. And most of the women who go to the gardens to work, who do this toil using hand hoe, they cannot link what is happening with the change of weather to issues of climate change. They do not even understand what is happening to their motherland. So we need to make sure that government and all agencies and the private sector come together to be able to sensitize and educate. And of course, this is not far from the issues and the cardinal role of women. In Uganda, specifically, people who are behind a meal at the table to cook, they are usually women and girls. And they cannot understand why many years ago you would walk into the neighbor's farm, you would walk into somebody's garden and be able to pick firewood. Today you can't. It's not even available. Right Honorable Speaker, I who represent City, we have situations where people cannot eat because they have no energy to cook. So implementing the Climate Change Act and investing in it could see government being able to prioritize renewable energy. Right Honorable Speaker, we said do not cut trees. What is the alternative? Issues to do with cheap and affordable gas. The Minister of Energy had, I think in the 2023, intimated that they were going to start a program to reduce the costs of gas so that people would be able to afford. And when you look at the way our planning is done especially for the cities. When we travel, you see estates, you see villages accessing gas linked where you don't even need these cylinders. But because our planning is not rhyming with the changes of the world, we need to up our game as government. And lastly, Right Honorable Speaker, economic. We were here earlier on talking about equity, talking about access to resources. When it comes to women, we may even close this August House. The women are the most poor, most illiterate, most sick, most vulnerable. The 30% that the government or the law requires in procurement and doing business with government, which is to the interest groups, is not practically actualized. The way we have seen change come to women.
On the implementation of the law, the PPDA Act, all the other laws that would bring in women.
Yes.
We shall want to hear from you for us to ensure that there is women empowerment. How best can we handle it?
Yeah, because you see how we have been able to move as women is when a law is created, there is deliberate effort to be able to achieve. We have not seen this government come out with deliberate programs to teach women how to do business. Talk about the African free continental trade. Talk about the region integration within the East Africa. Who exactly, where is government program that is building a cadre of women in business to be able to deal with all this? And lastly, Right Honorable Speaker, the issue to do with affordable financing, we cannot fail to speak about it today. Talk about the grow. We need to fast track it. Right Honorable Speaker.
Before you go to the grow, you've been here trying to give money to ADB. And the money that you're giving to ADB, what percentage is going to the women? UDB. You're here getting a loan to give to UDB. How much of that money is going to a woman? 99% of the responsibility in a home lies on a woman. So if a woman is the one taking responsibility, and a woman is one person that banks trust in giving out, in lending, because they know they will pay, how much is going to the women? Okay, go ahead.
Right Honorable Speaker, we want to see government being deliberate about making women have money in their pockets, not just policies that are put there and abandoned to be able to gather dust on the shelf. But we do thank you, and I hope that together we can continue to have these women experience this, but also have their voices in the August House. Thank you very much. I submit.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Honorable Minister, I'm going to give you members to speak.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues. Right Honorable Speaker, personally I want to thank you and the members. When you see the resolutions that are here, they are very specific and outright. That's why I think the whole House supported them. For me, it's a question of now implementation.
Implementation, yes.
That's why we should now focus. Because when you look at whatever has been put here, you can see definitely that it was well thought out. So my request is, when we are debating, let's focus how we are going to implement these resolutions, instead of just passing them and then again we leave to it as a paper or whatever. But Right Honorable Speaker, having said that, I think the people who put you in that chair, or your mother and your father and the God, he saw something in you. And I'm being sincere. Because, first of all, I want to start with this parliament. You have given the parliamentary women representative the strength, the determination to come out openly and issue out issues because you have given them a chance. In the past, you'd find the women, maybe they go back 5 years without speaking in this parliament. So they are getting the encouragement and determination from you. And when you look at them, they don't just come on this mic to just say things that are not connected. At times you find the men, with due respect, but the women are very focused. I am saying that at times, but men, the right honorable speaker, will bail me out that whenever the women come on the mic, they are focused and their issues are focused.
Thank you, Senga.
Lastly, I want to make an appeal. When you look at most of these issues, and you look at the percentage of the women in government or in cabinet, you'll find each of us as ministers, we have got an issue to address. When we talk about government,
it's a multi-sectoral
government
issues.
Is us. So my appeal would be, if so wish, maybe you even call us, the women ministers, to sit with you and look at this, and we start saying this is this. You in heresy, how far have you done on the women? You in education, how have you done into this? You in finance, where we have even Honorable Beverin and Musa Sizikan come in with us. That will give way how to move.
Thank you.
To see this implemented.
Thank you.
Because we are on this side.
Yes.
But we need again to join hands with you and then account. When we go to Ministry of Gender, most of these issues are on Ministry of Gender. And the ministers of gender, as you know, the biggest of them, they are all women. When you go to Harris, all of us are women. When we reach roads where we don't have a woman, we can co-opt somebody to come with us. So my movement is that we should have time with you to see how do we implement this and achieve the intention of the resolution that we are going to pass. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I think Honorable Hanifa is very correct, because at the end of the day, the Women Parliament sat here. We will need actions taken under Rule 220. We need actions taken on the resolutions of the women. The women were very passionate on their debate, and if you're getting up to speak, you're only making an amendment. If you're making an addition to the resolutions of the women that you think can make it better, then then you should stand. Honorable Victoria.
With gladness, I want to thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for this historical event. It has spread all over the country and women are happy. I saw women on this microphone everywhere enjoying, and world over, women are known for PhD, known for pulling each other down. But you consoled us, because some women went through that. Someone is appointed to a post, and intentionally is not vetted for years. Someone is shortlisted and a fellow woman goes backstabbing. Your confidence has helped us also to become confident. When you are confident, you don't block others. Thank you, and may God bless you for that. You have empowered us to think of every woman and not to leave any woman behind. This has energized us to make sure we implore government. We have to change the laws. We have to think of the next coming budgets to make sure things that obstacle our young ladies from growing up and replacing us in future are cleared. It hurts to find a very brilliant girl dropping out of school just because he or she lacks pads. We have all the power to enact laws and change them and make sure part of the money goes to rescue these girls. Life-saving environments and encouraging environments, Right Honorable Speaker, are a very, very big blockage to our girls' success. Why don't we think of making compulsory infrastructure in schools? Just an additional room for a changing room, just little money for a spare uniform and some pads and some knickers, so that these girls can come, attend,